Woohoo! Bitcoin finally hit $100,000. At the making of this video, Bitcoin is $102,000. Please let me know in the comment section below what Bitcoin is when you are watching this. We got the Bitcoin t-shirt on. I'm not selling this or anything. Tell your baby mama, hodl Bitcoin, man. It doesn't get any better than that. And, I've been watching the price of Bitcoin. We've been talking about it hitting 100,000. I think this has been everybody's goal for years. This is my third bull run officially. And, we just survived our second bear run. And, man, times are really amazing right now. We're starting to see all the other coins follow, but I still think Bitcoin for sure has a lot of Bitcoin dominance, right? So altcoin season has been doing really well, but people are always wondering, when is altcoin season going to happen? Now, you guys know me. I have a little bit over 1 Bitcoin. I bought in at roughly 29,000, maybe closer to 30, but it was certainly in the 29,000s. And I'm still getting asked, are you going to sell your Bitcoin, DJ? Because people ask this, I would assume, most of the time, because they want to sell, right? So maybe they're looking for advice. You shouldn't take me or any of my financial advice or anybody's, do what's best for you. So, but I will share my story and what I plan on doing. I've always said, as soon as I bought the Bitcoin and all my altcoins I've been holding throughout the bear run, I plan on selling in 2025, right? To me and to many others like me, this was part of the plan. This was super obvious. Now, if you're brand new to crypto or Bitcoin, or you're just getting into trading or crypto mining or whatever you're doing, that probably didn't seem very obvious to you because you're new to it, right? That's okay. That makes sense. But to me, I believe in the 4-year cycle based off the halving, right? Because then suddenly the supply gets cut in half, which really drives up the demand. And for people to buy Bitcoin, now that it's literally twice as hard to get, it is. That's just how the 4-year cycles work with the halving schedule. Now they're going to have to pay that premium, right? And so you don't want to be that person paying that premium. You really want to be that person selling it to the Timmies, right? Because the Timmies, man, they're going to come. You think they're here now, but trust me, you're going to start seeing them at your job. People who wouldn't normally talk about crypto are going to start talking about crypto and NFTs and all this random crap. And that's kind of a sign like, oh man, this train, the good gravy train might be slowing down a little bit when you start seeing all these Timmies come into it and random people who are like, man, I just bought Shiba or I bought Doge or I bought this. And you're like, whoa, right? But for the rest of us who have been in it for a while, we knew these people were going to come. And so we bought low and we're going to sell it to them high. Now, why do I want to sell in 2025? Again, I've said this consistently. The reason is because of the purchasing power, and I want to make money long term. I'm not really worried about making a crap load of money in 2025. I'm thinking 2 bull runs ahead. So I'm thinking like 2029, right? Or something later. But definitely 2029 is what I have in mind. So if I were to hold this, let's say 1 Bitcoin just for easy math, let's say I get 150K next year. Awesome. But if I were to hold that Bitcoin, right, through 2026 and 2027, and now I still have 1 Bitcoin, which is really unfortunate, right? So instead, what I'm planning on doing is selling in 2025. Again, I don't know the month just yet, probably like in the middle or something. I might lose a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. And then I'm gonna rebuy, hopefully like 2 Bitcoins, if I'm lucky, like 2.5 Bitcoins. And then leading into the 2029 bull run, now somebody like me who sold their Bitcoin high and bought it again when it went low, which again is an assumption. I don't know if that's going to happen for sure. But my assumption is just like every other 4-year cycle, it's going to go crazy and then it's going to crash and burn. And then it'll come back eventually, right? Like years later. That's just the 4-year cycle. And it's always been like that. And I don't know if it always will be. The ETFs have definitely changed things, but you really never know. Now, some people will say, well, because of the ETFs, you'll never get that opportunity again. And that very well could be true. Absolutely. But I'll buy back in, right? That you have to understand the whole point for me, at least, is to make as much money as I possibly can off of my Bitcoin and my crypto and everything. And, the technology is amazing. I love it. But at the end of the day, I'm still interested in the technology. I just want to earn more of it. Do you understand? It's kind of the difference there. There's nothing wrong with holding all the way through or anything like that. But you're not going to get as many Bitcoins, and you're just going to keep, if you hold 1 Bitcoin, all the way until the end of time, that's awesome. You're going to make a lot of money. But if you would have bought, sold, and it's not very common that you're doing this. You're doing this every 4 years or so. So it's not like frequently. You're not trying to time the market or something. A bull run is 12 months long, right? A lot of people will say, well, you're trying to time the market perfectly. Not really, man. You can tell when Bitcoin's doing this, right? like going up like this, it's not very hard to sell and make a profit, right? So yeah, you're not going to get the exact top. You're probably not going to get the exact bottom. You know, maybe even dollar cost average, DCA out of it. So if you have one Bitcoin, you sell 0.1 Bitcoin, and then the next couple weeks or a month, you sell 0.2 or 0.3 or whatever you feel like doing. You can always dollar cost average it and get the average of the bull run if that's something that you're interested in, rather than just selling it on like a very specific day, because that's going to be hard to do. Bottom line, though, it doesn't matter when you bought Bitcoin. You should be up, unless you bought at 103,000 and now it's 102,000. Besides that rare situation, you'll be perfectly fine. Now, another reason that I wanted to sell in 2025 is because, well, at that point, I'll be holding that Bitcoin for over 1 year. Now, at least in the United States of America, if you hold for 366 days, so 1 year and 1 day, you will get in the tax bracket where you'll have to pay 15%, right? So this is awesome, right? I'm not going to bore you with the terminology. I'm trying to break this down Barney style. So if you hold it for 1 year or less, you're going to have to pay maybe 24% of those gains, 28. Some people that are rich, like 30%. I bet those Canadians are paying like 40% of their gains. Where in America, yeah, you held it for 366 days, flat tax, 15% on the gains that you made. Another really cool thing, and this is kind of specific to my case, is I own a house, right? So I'm going to get, I think it's 25,000 write-off with that for owning a home. And so what I plan on doing is a lot of those gains that I have, right, in the year 2025, with the tax write-off, I'm going to use that. So let's pretend, I'm just going to make up numbers. I made $100,000 profit. Then I'm going to take, so $100,000 profit, then I'm going to take my house right off of the standard deduction, I believe it's called, $25,000. So now I'm only paying $75,000 in taxes. Now that I'm being taxed on, I'm not actually paying $75,000. I hope that kind of makes sense there. But yeah, man, times are super, super exciting, and I'm really just so happy and ecstatic, and I just am very honored to share this moment with all of you, because I watch a lot of old documentaries. I think it's called The Rise and Rise of Bitcoin. If you've not seen that, I've probably watched that movie 5 times. It is 100% free on YouTube. And it's so interesting. You know, the guy filmed himself back in 2012 when he was mining on like GPUs and laptops. And then he started getting introduced into ASICs, and he filmed the entire time, right? So looking back on him, you're like, wow, you're a genius. It was so obvious Bitcoin was going to be this huge thing. But back then they were really scared they were going to go to prison. For real, imagine that. Imagine being frightened that you could go to jail, or even it become illegal and be confiscated or something like that. And certainly in the year 2024, leading into 2025, we're not worried about that. I mean, everybody's back in Bitcoin at this point, and things have really changed. But I would love to look back on this video and some of my friends' videos, and 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, be like, maybe somebody will watch this video and be like, oh my God, Bitcoin was only 102,000. That's crazy. You could buy a mansion with one Bitcoin, and I think that's really interesting. When I first got into crypto, 2016, 2017, I remember, I think the all-time high was like $17,000, and it was a very different world back then. Bitcoin was very different, and certainly if you got in before 2016, 2017, I'm sure Bitcoin was even more scarier back then. But then the 2021 bull run, I think we got to 67,000, 70,000, I can't remember, 76,000, something like that, and that was crazy. And now we have this one, and now these ETFs, and it seems like the US is actually going to use a lot of Bitcoin in reserves. And man, if you haven't checked out Michael Saylor, I would definitely recommend checking out some things from Michael Saylor and just listening to him, man. The digital gold, digital currency, it's a really, really crazy thing. I'm going to tell you a crazy story that just happened to me yesterday. And I hate this about dollars and banking and all this. It's very frustrating. So basically yesterday I wanted to take out $88,000, which I did. I sold some of my Tesla stock so that way I could reallocate those funds towards cryptocurrency, because I think in 2025 things are going to go crazy, and I just thought that was a better way to put my money in, right? And so I take out the $88,000 and I try to do a wire transfer. And now, mind you, this is my money. This is mine, right? And so basically, you have to beg the bank, and you have to go through all this hassle to get your money. Where with cryptocurrency, right, if I wanted to send somebody $88,000, I'd say, what's your wallet address? They would send it to me in a text or an email or something. I would copy it. I would paste it on my phone, and I would send them $88,000. And however long it takes the network to send it, it could be a few minutes. If you're using the Lightning Network, it'll take a few seconds. And boom, 88,000. I could send somebody, not that I have the money, but I could send somebody $50 million. No problem. Oh, what's your address? There you go. Here's 50 mil, right? But anyways, so I take out this 88,000. I try to do a wire transfer. I have to go on hold because it's over 10,000. So I'm on hold for like an hour and a half waiting to talk to an agent. And I'm just like, man, what a crap system that we use. What a dog shit system. It's just like a fossil. You know what I mean? It's just so antiquated. And so then the phone disconnects. Okay, cool. I call back and now I'm on the phone for like another hour. Finally, the representative's like, okay, well, we have to call your phone. In my rare situation, you guys know I'm overseas right now, unfortunately, doing something for my job. So they're like, okay, we have to call back your phone. I said, my phone's disconnected. I'm using Wi-Fi. Can I do something on the app? Can I do something on the email? They're like, no, we can't do that. We're not gonna be able to help you today. So I have to hang up with them. I have to go on the phone for like another hour with Verizon, and I have to talk to them. And I'm like, guys, can you please connect my phone? They connect my phone, so now I have to pay $110 for the month or whatever it is, and I'm not even going to be able to really use it just so I could receive a call. Okay, so cool. I tested out with somebody. Hey, call me. Phone's not working. The only thing that were working was text messages. I go back. This is the reality of using fiat currency at large scale. If you're trying to send $2,000-$3,000, you can do that in Zelle. You can do that in Robinhood. But anything larger, right? When you get a little bit older and you start playing with real money, or if you wanted to buy, some land or a house or something, it's impossible, man. It's impossible. You have to do so many annoying things and loops. And again, it is partially because I'm overseas. So anyways, about 3-4 hours later, I finally get Verizon to fix it, man. It was a nightmare. Call back the bank and they're like, oh, you missed it. We'll send it out tomorrow. So now, hopefully I'll get the money tomorrow and I'll be able to buy some more cryptocurrency, which is really exciting. But you can see the difference, right? The cool thing about Bitcoin, the cool thing about cryptocurrency in general is it's decentralized, it's permissionless, right? So, when I say decentralized, there's no one that owns it. There's no entity to it, right? And that's really the cool part. And for some people, that's the scary part. But when you really understand that you become your own bank, you have the power, right? And it's permissionless because you don't have to ask anybody. You don't have to say, at 4 a.m. in the morning, you can't go to a bank and take out $5,000. You can't go to the ATM and take out, $6,000. Or hell, you can barely take out $600 at the ATM, right? So even, there's so many complications, but you have to ask all your permission and stuff. And the worst part is this isn't a loan. If this was a loan and it wasn't your money, I would understand that. But you're literally just saying, I want my money out. And they're like, you can't just take your money out. What? I know it's yours. You worked hard for it. You invested for it. We can't give you that. And the real reason they can't give you your money back when you want it is because they don't have your money. That's the thing, right? So you deposit $5K, $10K, $100,000, and guess what? They take that money and they reallocate it to somebody else, or they put a loan on it and they send it 9 different places and stuff. So when you say, okay, I'm done with you guys. I just want my money. Oh, we're going to need time. We're going to need 48 hours. We're going to need a week. We're going to need you to come in every day and only take out $5,000 cash per day. And guess what? If you take over $10,000 out in a month, it's suspicious. We need you to prove what you're doing and why you're doing it. And, you might even be doing something like buying land. I've done that before. I bought land before for $16,000, $17,000, and I had to go multiple times on multiple days just to take $5,000 out because I wanted to pay cash, right? So paying with cash is almost impossible for things. I think I've rambled enough, guys. Bitcoin, so exciting. I'm so excited about this. And thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, put in hashtag GIF. Or peanut butter, I don't care. Hashtag GIF, J-I-F. Then I'll know you made it to the end. I love all of you, man. The bull run is here. Bitcoin 100K. Let's go. I love you guys. Peace.